Cambodia. Good afternoon, South Africa. My name's Andre. This is Pepper's Echo. And yes, the room is still hollow. And it's even more now because I've got the door closed and the fan on. So hopefully you don't have any unnecessary noise to what you would want to hear. Short one today because I'm feeling really clogged up today. Again, I still haven't had, I was off to the chemist this weekend for the old sinus, but I actually feel like I look today. But let's get over and done with all these wonderful little things. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the show, and let your friends know. It's the only way that I get the message out there. If there's anything that you would like to chat about, I promise every week life happens and I don't get to it. I have promised, and I will promise that I will contact Pastor Coral, who I think is also very busy at the moment, to come on and have a chat with us on the show, which is going to be a lot more enlightening as we go along. And we will see who else we can get on, because what I want to know from you is if you have any subject, anything that you would like us to talk about, like myself to look at, like myself to have a chat about, look at an opinion. As I say, I'm only an ordinary man in the street from the outside looking in. Yes, I have views and questions and opinions about things, but I'm not opinionated. So I am open to any suggestions, any ideas. What are your views? What are your opinions? If you'd like to come on the show, or if you have got something for us to talk about, doesn't have to be political, doesn't have to be life orientated, can be anything, because I've been doing quite a bit of life orientation just of late. I think people are tired of orientating their life at the moment, but anyway, so be it. And then, of course, take a look at the email address down over here is Pepper's Echo, PEPRSECHO @gmail.com. No double P, no E. It is that way. So don't forget PEPRSECHO @gmail.com. Yeah, and if you'd like me to chat to you on your show, if you've got a show, I'm not that important, but you're welcome to have me pop around and take a look at them. One of the things I have been looking at of late is, and I would like some feedback on that if possible, please, is should Pepper's Echo stay live? I'd really like a yes or a no, even if you pop it in the comments or if you drop me an email or anything like that. Should Pepper's Echo stay live, or should I just pop in some content 10, 15 minutes every week, which I'm happy to do, because on a Sunday evening over here, I don't want to say I don't mind putting in the time or everything like that, but if I'm just putting in the time to talk to myself, or you know what, it's something that doesn't actually move along, etc., then I think maybe I should look at just doing a content video, maybe, and maybe it'll be shorter but a little bit more impacted. And then occasionally we could get a guest and maybe do a live thing with a guest, or just have pre-recorded with a guest as well, because there's some people that I would like to speak to as well. And their times are also difficult because I'm sitting in Cambodia and you guys are out there in the good old Safa town. But interesting week that we've had. I have a couple of views. I have a couple of personal news, and I wonder sometimes if I'm agreed with, or if I cause a lot of trouble for myself in the process. I'm actually just wanting to find news, if they've got anything on there. News 24, but I don't think so. The week has been, I don't say I've had a lot of work, it's just been uncomfortable. Because you don't work a lot, but you can't start anything because you've got people interrupting you all the time. Not that you hold it against those people, because it's your job, obviously, to help them, or my job to help them. And I need to stop saying I suppose, but yeah, I really need to take a look and sometimes you've also got to take a look in your life as well. You get so irate with people asking you, especially if you're in the business of dealing with people, running people, managing people, have people reporting to you, or are in charge, or need to supervise people. Be careful about becoming frustrated with people, irritated with people, because one person will come to take 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of your time, and they're busy, but they need the help, and they go and they take that little bit of your time, and then off they go. 20 minutes later, somebody else is going to step in and take 5 or 10 minutes of your time again. And same reason, they're busy, but they need that bit of help. And then again, they go away, and 20 minutes to half an hour later, another person comes. But now you are, can you people not just do your bloody work? Meanwhile, this people, or all these people, have actually only taken about 10, maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes of your time, because you are the person that they need to speak with. You are the person that they're reaching out to. That in its own should show a little bit of respect. You cannot get upset or unhappy with people who are consistently asking you things, because A, number one, if that's what you're there for, you should be able to do it. And B, the other two people don't know that the first person's already asked you, or the third person doesn't know that there's been two people already. And we end up putting ourselves in a real bad mood and getting irate with people who don't deserve to be treated irately, if I can put it to you that way. So, yeah, the week goes, and my throat is pretty sore, so excuse me. If anyone can give me feedback, this is zero, and I've had the light, and I've had a good couple of questions between what is better, the light or the zero. Now, I know the ultimate is don't drink a fizzy cool drink and stay away from Coke. But if I do, if it's Coke Zero or Coke Light, which is the better one? Drop us a message or a mail. Anyway, but yes, so the week has been quietly uncomfortable, if I can put it to you that way. But then we've had some little bit of a heart-rending news where Tiens Jordan passed away. And he was really, really one of my favorites. I'm not much into Afrikaans music because they sing it like they say it. And, well, DVD, Divan, normal Coke. No, we don't all process it like you and stay like that. I just smell normal Coke and put on a few kgs. It's nice to see that those little thingies are working there. Yeah. But where was I? Tiens Jordan. It was very, very sad. I didn't see the whole of his memorial service. I just saw pieces of the memorial service. Very, very, very sad. I actually saw the part where his father was talking, and actually I get goosebumps when I think about it now. And his father's saying, I don't want to stop talking because I know that when I stop talking, you're going to come and fetch his coffin now, and then you're going to take him away. That was very sad. I mean, he was, 50 years old? Apparently a very good person. He had a lot of respect from people. Wow. It's sad that good people need to go, but I also sat and I thought to myself, how many people died on the same day as Tiens Jordan, who were also good people that nobody quietly knows about, but there are so many broken feelings and broken hearts. It's sad that when you get to a stage where people are leaving you, and we know that they go to a better place, especially being good people, but the earthly feelings and the soul just doesn't budget that well. But yes, may his family be looked after, and the Lord bless them and keep them in this terribly sad time, and may he rest in peace. Tiens Jordan was an absolute legend in Afrikaans music, and well, not only he sang English as well, but in music. he was an absolute legend. And I really, from the day I heard Swiss Blut was good, and then a good couple of others as well. But yes, so that happened this week. And then, of course, what else happened this week is South Africa discovered a new strain of COVID. Am I allowed to say that, or is YouTube going to ban me? But anyway, South Africa discovered a new strain of COVID. And of course, everyone banned South Africa. Oh, there's a new strain of COVID in South Africa. Now, truth be told, it's not necessarily a new strain that originated in South Africa, because I know South Africa is kind of supposed to be falling apart and nothing's getting done there, and it's an absolute trash heap, and the country's going down the toilet. But there's still a very, very high intellectual infrastructure in South Africa. One of them being the scientists and the scientific research that gets done in South Africa is done of very, very high standards, and is still noted worldwide as a very respected and high standard. And it just happens to be that with all the monitoring and researching, that it happens that South Africa has identified the new strand, which has now been named, what is it? Omicron? Let me take a look there. Omicron. Yeah, Australia detects first Omicron infection, US praises SA scientists. Anyway, but so I don't know, and I don't think it originated in South Africa as much as what it was identified by the clever brains in South Africa, or the researchers in South Africa. And I think that's a feather in South Africa's cap that this occurred. Better. Too bright. I don't know. I forgot the light off. So it's to me, it's not a South African variant. It is a COVID variant that we are fortunate enough that the researchers and scientists in South Africa were able to identify. And that's the only thing that should be attributed to South Africa, is the research and knowledge that has been placed into identifying the new strain, and not the fact that it originated in South Africa. It's quite most likely, and is, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, there's Singapore, I think there's Singapore, Hong Kong, I think there was in Australia, and I don't know if there's anywhere else. I can't see anywhere on the news pages at the moment, and I'm not going to be pulling them up at the moment over here, because I don't want to make it too much of a news throw. But yes, it hails in Botswana as well, and I think there's one or two neighboring countries as well in South Africa. So I understand some of the countries immediately putting a travel ban on South Africa to cut off any form of flow, but I think they are doing a little bit quickly, because I do believe if you do your PCR test before you go and you are vaccinated and you travel with the safety rules and regulations, you should be okay. It's all a matter of forming safe and secure surroundings around you. Sad part, coming to vaccination is what I want to talk about as well. Yes, I'm vaccinated. I actually have 3 shots because I took a booster as well about 3 weeks ago, because we got vaccinated quite early in the year as well. Yes, I do believe that you should be vaccinated. No, I don't believe that you can't get COVID if you are vaccinated. Yes, you can get COVID if you're vaccinated. Yes, you can die if you get COVID and you're vaccinated. However, it mitigates the possibility of that. It mitigates you getting COVID. It mitigates you dying from COVID. It mitigates you getting that ill from COVID. And it starts making the world a bit of a safer place. Cambodia, I think we've got about an 87% country, not adult, country that has been vaccinated. We've got kiddies from 6 up, all vaccinated, 12 to 18, all vaccinated, adults over 18 vaccinated. Most people are going in for their boosters at the moment. That's what their drive is. Their drive is for boosters currently more than what they're driving vaccination, because everyone is so well vaccinated, which has resulted in the country opening up again. We're now able to receive, as long as you've been, if you've been vaccinated, you've got your vaccination card, and you have a negative test. I think it's 48 hours before you leave, and you test negative. Yeah, you don't have to quarantine anymore. We can fly between Thailand and South Africa, Thailand and Cambodia. I think the Philippines is open. I'm not too sure about that. But we're opening up to tourism now. They've opened up. Clubs have opened up again about 3 weeks ago. Cinemas and that have opened up again. The pubs are open. Gatherings are up to 200. We can basically almost take a full class in now. I think it's up to 20. So just maybe a little bit of overflow, but everything is still being handled very strictly. Before you go into stores and shops and things, there's vaccination cards, and there is temperatures taken, and at school as well, and you tested twice every 2 weeks, etc., etc. But all precautions are taken. But because the country seems to have been put in that direction, we seem to be opening up again, because our cases are dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, the last case as high as what we had was March this year. So definitely, I do believe that vaccination is something that does work. I do believe that people sometimes do get sick from vaccinations, because I know the AstraZeneca makes most people quite ill for a day or two afterwards. I do believe that it could adversely affect some people. I have seen people who go to hospital or who get medicated and then end up having bad reactions for something else. If I'm going in for operation, or I'm going in for a sore leg or a nose or whatever, because it's just like that. Sometimes people do have adverse effects to medication. The reason it's probably more noted with COVID is with the vaccination, is because everybody's getting COVID vaccination. It's not the few individual here or there. Not everybody goes for a knee op. Not everybody goes for a lung op or a liver op or a stomach op or an eye op or whatever, or finger or nasals, or whatever you're going to go in for or do for or take medication for. It is minimal compared to the amount of people that are having to be vaccinated. And yes, the vaccination came out, and we're not too sure how long it lasts. That's why we've had to boost again. But I do believe if you take a look at Cambodia, it has really resulted positively in the effect that the cases were going wild at one stage, and they've just brought them right down with everybody being vaccinated, and life is turning back to normal more frequently now throughout everything. Museums are open, pubs are open, clubs are open, and people are confidently being able to go out again. South Africa, I think, has the problem with the South African government, who exploits everything. So instead of handling this pandemic as a pandemic, they've exploited it into a control system for themselves. The same as what they did with the PPE equipment. Instead of making sure that everybody gets PPE equipment and gets the best PPE equipment and stocks up and gets the hospitals ready, etc., etc., they exploited it into a beneficial situation for themselves. Once again, thank you, ANC. They took the money and they swindled with cadres, and everybody tried to make something out of it. And of course, with having COVID, it was suddenly like a new toy. So we now try and control our country. And I mean, where have you in your life, in our worst stages? Yeah, we didn't stop smoking. In South Africa, there was a tobacco ban. For crying out loud, that was exercising control. And I do understand the frustration and the unhappiness that people have in South Africa against the South African government for exploiting this. Hence the reason I think they have such a reluctance to want to do what the South African government wants them to do. So we say to you, go and vaccinate. Now the government's trying to control me. Okay, apart from those mad shits that decided it's world domination and you know what, when 5G comes on, then your arm's going to drop off and you're going to die in a year's time and all that type of stuff. Really, guys? Really? It's your choice still, but it's not a biblical disaster. I think you need to get away from the media. I think you need to get away from Facebook. And unfortunately, I'm going to name one person. Ramkat Se is a absolute Pied Piper taking you off the cliffs with this other lawyer dude who thinks the sun shines out of his ass. What a bunch of wankers. You know what? Control what the country does, but don't control what is needed. Go on your knees and say your prayers. Ask for discernment and enlightenment. And note that no vaccination is going to separate you from your God. The only thing that is going to separate you from your God is you, yourself, is the boundaries that you place in the way, the standards and stumbling blocks, the what ifs or requirements that you play, the conditions that you place in the way. God loves you unconditionally. How many of you are refusing to take a vaccine but have got tattoos on you? Just a question. So, yeah. Before you decide it's a religious situation, personally go down and speak to your maker and have a personal conversation with him. Say your prayers and talk to him and actually have that relationship. And don't talk to him with a solution. Listen. Everybody's comparing 20 different biblical things. It is absolutely mass hysteria when the actual problem is the fact that the government is manipulating in South Africa, is manipulating the situation. South Africa can't take another lockdown. Lockdown isn't helping. Lockdown doesn't help. What does help is compliance. Go on holiday, but comply. Go and buy your alcohol, but comply. Go to the shops, comply. That's what helps. And I think that's what's worked in Cambodia is not lockdowns. We had a short lockdown to get things in order, and then it was back up again. But not again. We actually just went open and open and open. And what worked was compliance. You know, if I want to travel from here to there, I travel from here to there. I go there. But you know what, guys? Be aware. Take a look at where we're telling you there's high areas. Wear your mask. Get your vaccination. Comply. Make sure you're sanitized. Sanitize your hands in that regularly. I don't think lockdown works. I think compliance works. I think the only thing is the country enjoys, the government enjoys the idea of lockdown because they don't see that it's damaging the economy and the people. And yeah, that's why I think a lot of responsible people are not wanting vaccinations. I don't want to get to those who are are doom profiting, because if I do, I'll tell you that Eskom needs to be without power, and there'll be a blackout throughout the country within the next 6 months. And look, I think South Africa is going through a tough time, and I do believe that it's being run into the ground. But I do believe that there's enough sane people in the country that won't allow it to go to shit, if I can put it that way. So, yeah, just my 2 cents over there and my input. I'm not going to carry on and on and on about it. Your choice. But as I said, lockdown will not work. Compliance, yes, that will work. And it's a problem with many South Africans. The arrogance overruns itself. I found a video thing on retail Karens. Throw their toys and go bananas. I mean, I don't want to mention what I want to mention because it's a sad state of affairs, but the fact of the fat cats are not the only ones. The fat cats in government are not the only ones that are fat cats. The fact that you have people that feel that they can get their way by manipulating and intimidating people. I'll have a drink to the people of Cambodia. They're poor. No, not all. You get your very rich people, but your everyday people, poor, humble, helpful, kind. Grateful. I actually feel bad sometimes. What have I felt bad about this week? I took a look, and I'll tell you a little bit of story. There's a guy and an old man and a donkey. And they were walking from the one town to the other. So the old man put the boy on the donkey and walked with the donkey, and the boy rode on the donkey. And they passed a few people, and they heard the people whispering, "It's disgusting. Old man has to walk, and the young boy's fit and rides on the donkey." So they took the young boy off the donkey and put the old man on the donkey. And they carried on walking. And they passed some more people. And they heard them speaking afterwards. Absolutely disgusting. The young child who can hardly make it from here to there has to walk like a little child slave while the old man sits and rides upon his steed. Well, they felt that can't be too good. So they put the boy and the old man on the donkey, and they both rode the donkey. And they rode past some people. And they heard the people. That poor beast has to carry those 2 people. How can they be so inconsiderate and insensitive towards that animal that they both sit on top of him and he has to carry them? So the boy got off and the old man got off, and they carried the donkey. They picked the donkey up and they both carried the donkey. And then they got to this bridge over this river. Whereas they were walking across, they suddenly slipped, and they slipped against the side of the bridge, and the donkey fell over and into the river, never to be seen again. What's the moral of the story? Moral of the story is, if you try and please everybody, you're going to lose your ass. It's easy as that. And it's something that I really struggle to get around some days. You know, some days I'm not feeling the greatest, but I feel I've got to try and make everybody happy. Some days I'm just happy with what I am, content with what I am. And all of a sudden I feel, oh, so-and-so's feeling grumpy, or this person, or I've said something wrong, or you know what, maybe this person's taken this up wrong, or maybe this person is thinking this way. That's preempting. And then when somebody's unhappy about something, or my opinion or my thoughts or my statement is not to the liking of somebody else, I've got to try and make everybody happy. So when I'm in this group, I've got to talk this way. When I'm in that group, I've got to talk that way. When I'm in that group, I've got to accept things that way. In the end, you're a stressed mess, because I sit and I think about something and somebody says something and it bothers me. It bothers me so. And I think, how can that person say that? That's not right. And I'm telling you, it eats away at me until I actually get to doing something about it. And it shouldn't. You know, I, for one, don't like these messages that come up on Facebook, on wherever, Telegram, WhatsApp, etc., etc. No, I don't mind motivational stuff. It's good for you. But you know what? My life wasn't so good until I learned not to give a fuck anymore. Or it wasn't. You know what? I was good, and now I don't care. Now I'm better, or something to that effect. You know, and I just don't. I believe that you should give a damn. I believe it's important, but I also believe that you shouldn't let it affect you. And this is what I'm trying to practice a little bit more at the moment. Is going through. I must be able to, as I said, I have an opinion, I have a view. If you state differently and I feel you justify better, I can change it. If I don't, then I won't. And I need to make peace with that. And the fact that the person who cannot make peace with me having my own view as well, and still accepting me as a good person, because I'm not into insulting people. I'm not that. I don't give a. I respect your view, and I will respect your opinion, as long as you say it diplomatically and with integrity. If you are arrogant, brass, or snot about it, I don't think it's right in any way. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. That is your attitude that you're doing it. Your integrity goes down the toilet. But if I can keep my integrity, be diplomatic and genuine about how I feel, or how I see something, or the advice that I give, or when I say it is your choice to associate with me or not. Don't you lose a good friend or a good colleague or whatever. That's not a problem. But I don't need to be the one worrying about what you say all the time, or what I say in front of you. And this is what you've got to learn in life as well. I think finding contentment in what you say is so important. Because what is even more important is that you say it. So here we go. If I'm not going to, if it might cause trouble, let's keep quiet. If it might cause trouble, let's keep quiet. But if it's not going to cause any trouble, then I can talk about it. That is wrong, because then you are now building up something that you should be able to say. And I'm talking about at work. I'm talking about between friends. And if your friends aren't going to accept you with being able to, as I said, nicely saying what you need to say, giving your view, overview, whatever, then you've got to evaluate what circles you move in. And it's even more important at home, in a family. Between yourself and your spouse is vital. You know, the loveliest things that I've heard people say about their spouse that I don't hear very much anymore is, he or she is my best friend, and mean it. You're my best friend. These days, it's you're my most convenient person, or you're my most tolerable person. You're the lesser of two evils. You better the devil I know. I miss the times when you see people and they say, this is my best friend, and I mean it. And the only way you can do that is to share. And sometimes sharing and speaking about something is not necessarily talking about something great, but your opinion, your feeling, your view, but being decent about it. Not snotty, not arrogant, not hostile. And you don't have to feel bad about it either. You can be a nice person and still not feel. And you know what? I thoroughly enjoy being a nice person. I really do. I think it's a good trait to have. Maybe not everybody was made to be nice. I have my quirks. Yes, I do. I mean, if I don't eat soon enough, I'm grumpy. But no, I'm kidding. But it's important to be able to say and not worry about others, because nobody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to agree with you. Not nobody, sorry. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Some people may. Some people may respect you and disagree with you just for arrogance sake or for disagreeing's sake. Some people may disagree with you but respect you. That's important. Those are people who are good, because you can actually love having those chats. You know, sometimes you can sit around a barbecue fire, and have a good chat. And sometimes you get pretty deep. And you can either walk out there enemies, or you can walk out there more enlightened. Mine is at work that I've had situations at work where you come and at work you've maybe said or expressed things that you don't feel, or you feel differently about, or that you do feel about, that others feel differently about. And then your concern is about their feeling to you, or that they just couldn't care. When you come home, you want to express your feelings as well. Not have a hostile situation, but maybe actually work through it. Sometimes it's important to be able to speak to each other, to be able to see reason in things. I'm not always right, but no one is willing to accept hostility, and nor should you, nor should I. And it shouldn't be, I don't give up, but it should be, I am not going to let it reside within me and eat at me. The same with the forgiveness that I've spoken about before, that you don't have that eating up in your mind. That's the same thing. You know, I've got to stop myself on a Sunday from trying to predict what Monday is going to be like and start worrying about that. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to talk about association today. We'll talk about that next week or something like that. But let me know. Should we change this comment? Should we keep it live? Should we change this to just content loaded, that I don't talk so much and just end up waffling to myself? Yeah, I need to get a background. But yeah, let me know. Don't forget to tell me, Coke Light or Coke Zero. Take it easy in South Africa. I really hope that you don't get your lockdown status, my fellow South Africans, and then you'll get yourself a new one ripped again. I don't believe it is necessary. I think compliance is all that is necessary in that country. I genuinely don't believe that any form of lockdown will actually make anything better. Yeah. And then remember, if you try and please everyone, you're going to lose your ass. From my side, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking and sharing. Drop me a mail. Let me know if we should keep live or go content. And take care. If you can't be good, remember, be kind. Cheers.